you're doing well. We usually do our join lives on Thursday, but it happens that Emilia,
You're doing well.
I'm going live on YouTube too, guys. For those of you who like to join me on YouTube, come on YouTube, Sudi Burnett English. Yes, hi everyone, hello. This is my English page, guys. So if you are following me here, you need to be writing in English. Hello everyone, namaste. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. What's happening, guys? Mercury is in retrograde, so we got a lot of miscommunication going on, don't we? Yeah. So Mercury will be in retrograde for another 3 weeks. And you guys know what happens when Mercury retrogrades, right? A lot of electronic issues and things malfunction. Also, there's a lot of miscommunications, like we can't really hear what someone else is saying. That's a major issue, isn't it? So my guest is Emilia today. Our topic is how to stay positive. And as you guys know, my tribe, my lovely tribe, that we're working on happiness. This is the month that we're going to work on becoming a superhuman. And when we are a superhuman, we are happy and joyful. Why is that? Because, as you all know, being superhuman, it requires a lot of stuff. And one of them is to be fully mindful, present. You got to be able to overcome your mind ego. You got to be clearing out and doing a lot of cleansing. Your mind has to be sharp, focus right here in this moment. Therefore, yeah, how to be positive, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about how to be positive or to be in a positive mindset. In order for us to be in a positive mindset, guys, don't we have to overcome our mind first? In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a live about remote viewing. How many of you guys are interested in remote viewing? Tell me, who is interested to know about remote viewing? So I do remote viewing, but I wasn't quite sure of how to break it down so I can teach you guys how to do that. Tell me, if you're in for remote viewing. Who is in for it? Yes or no? Where are you guys joining me from? Tell me where you guys are joining me from. Hello, Sahar. Welcome on YouTube. There is something about YouTube camera. I'm trying to still figure it out what's going on with YouTube camera. Anyway, tell me Where are you guys joining me from? From Iran. Okay. Where else? California. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Amelia is here. Great. There we go. Amelia is here, guys. Good morning, love. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, darling?
I am pretty good. Very good.
Excellent. I know we've been planning this for some time, haven't we? But we're finally here.
Yes.
Fine timing.
Beautiful. Why are you so busy, Amelia? What's going on with you?
So I actually had a lot of health things happening as well. And I think it's a lot to do with the work I do. Like if I do something massive for humanity, like a really big meditation that's going to really crush darkness, for about 2 or 3 months afterwards, I'm wiped out. Literally, I'm wiped out. So I kind of had a lot going on, COVID, post-COVID, Lyme coming back from 15 years ago, all sorts of weird things. So now I'm back while still running the company, still getting everything happening, still receiving messages from my angels. So yeah, it's been an interesting time. And what happens is, since I get my strength back, I do another big attack on the dark, and then they try and take me out again. It's okay.
I hear you. I hear you.
We're down here to be warriors, so we're in a spiritual battle. So yes, but we're winning. We're winning.
There we go. There we go. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Amelia, let's dive into our topic today, because being in a positive mindset, the way I look at it is that firsthand, you got to be in control of the mind in a way, right?
Oh, not in a way. Absolutely. I'll try not to swear because I don't want to shock your clients, but absolutely. the only way. Hey, Astro Science. Haven't seen you in a minute. How are you, beautiful? Yes. So basically, having control of the mind is the only way to get through this. You see, because we're living in the Truman Show. We're really living in the Truman Show. Anyone who hasn't seen it, the Jim Carrey movie where the whole thing is a television show and he doesn't realize it. And then towards the end, he realizes there's a door and a crew and that everything's false. Well, we're in that part. We're in the part where some of us have realized that we're living in the Truman Show and some haven't. So some are still going along with the programming. And then others have realized and they're trying to say, hey, look at this. This is wild. You have to see this. That people are able to get their mind back, because a lot of people don't realize they lost their mind. They were hypnotized into a program, and that program is designed to take fear and negative emotions and feed from them. And so if you imagine, if you're not in control of your mind, then something else is, and it's getting fed by you. So taking back the control and owning your mind and owning your thoughts and understanding it's key, darling, key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're doing a lot of practice on my famous thought caught silent, and people are swearing by this practice. So the way it goes is, the minute you are conscious that your mind is starting its chatter, from the first word. So your mind starts, you're listening to the mind, and the mind is saying, oh my God, yesterday, you become the awareness. And imagine if you have a scissor in your mind and you cut the rest of the sentence. So basically, you don't allow the mind to does its routine, what it does to create thoughts and all that. We're just cutting it out. And then we come into this millisecond of silence. And then the mind starts with the next sentence. Do you know? And then in our mind eyes, we grab the golden scissor and we cut the rest of it. So I'm doing this practice. My followers are doing it and they're swearing by it. While they're on this practice, their mind is calm, they're feeling okay, they're in control of their minds and their emotions. And the minute they let this exercise pass, then the mind chatters becomes, and it is, you know the story, the rest of the story drives you crazy. The second practice is that we're practicing to be mindful all the time. So yesterday in my webinar, I told everyone, I said, you know, we are not really mindful the majority of our day. So basically what's going on is the mind is constantly going. We can catch it some of the time, but the majority of the time is going to the past, is going to the future, blah, blah, blah. But by doing this practice, I told them, I said, do this, add this exercise. Every time you're moving from one room to another, even if you're moving from your bedroom to your bathroom, the minute you enter the bathroom, ask yourself, what is the energy of this room? And that brings you into a different awareness, that you become fully mindful, and your subconscious mind, which is protecting you all the time, your subconscious mind becomes more acute to give you the more details of everything that's happening. Why aren't we seeing the details of everything that is around us? Because we are so busy listening to the chatter of the mind, right? We're not noticing, we're not feeling, picking up the energy. So what do you think on this note? Tell me, what's your thought on this, Emilia?
So I've just written some things down because my angels were very much, had lots to say.
I noticed that.
So my speciality, obviously a lot of people that watch you, they don't know who I am or what my speciality is. My speciality is putting the ego, the shadow mind, to sleep, so that the mind becomes silent permanently. And so basically the idea is, what you're saying about being in the present is absolutely key. Everyone has to remember to go to the present. If the mind is trying to take you into the past or the future, that is the ego. Because when the higher self talks about the future, it will literally give you a positive snapshot, glance, a picture of this positive future as guidance, and then you will get it. So it will still never talk. It will just show you, and then that's it. So in which case, staying in the present, any thoughts that are not present are of the ego. Now, the difference is you can go in. I actually don't teach the kind of think positive, try and wrestle with the mind. I've studied this ego and shadow so much that it's not something you want to wrestle with. It really is basically as intelligent as you. It knows you inherited it from your parents. It's the stuff they haven't processed before they were born. Then you actually acquire more strength to this ego as you experience pain in life, and that pain is not forgiven. So you have this ego shadow side that's really like a really good opponent. If it was a boxing match, it's kind of a fair fight. So a lot of people kind of do things that involve trying to kind of battle this internal enemy. I'm not about that. I'm like, let's take away its food so it falls asleep. But now we're not going to kill it because we can't kill it, and anyone who talks about killing their ego is not right. But we can starve it. We can take away all its food, and its food is negative emotions from the past, negative emotions from childhood. People who were like, oh, I don't feel anything about it, but do you feel love? You see, true forgiveness is turning it to love. And then people say, oh, but I went through terrible things. And honestly, I've seen clients that have gone through everything from near murder, sexual abuse from family members, everything on the planet. We can get to forgiveness if you know what forgiveness is. Forgiveness does not mean that what they did was okay. It does not mean you're letting them off the hook. It does not mean you tell them that they're forgiven. And it does not mean that you reacquaint yourself with the person. Forgiveness is something you do to release. By releasing that person and releasing the pain they had, that they gave you, it also releases the control those thoughts have over you, which then actually helps in putting the ego to sleep. So yes, you can take each thought at a time and be trying to cut it, but I feel like that's tiring. I feel like starve it completely, but then know that it's asleep, and know that if you're tired, sick, or hungry, it will wake up. And so you keep an eye out. You don't forget that you're in the ring with an enemy. Just because it went to sleep, you don't turn your back and start reading a book and forgetting that it's there. It's still there. You just become very aware of it. So you keep your eye on it, you get on with your life, feel great, you don't have the chatter, you're able to get on with your life. But you keep an eye out, and you know if you're tired, sick, or hungry, that thing's going to try and cause trouble. So, and at the same time, if it does wake up, you'll know it's waking up because you'll start hearing thoughts that are trying to project you into guilt from the past, or regret from the past, fear for the future, lack for the future, a feeling of unsatisfaction that actually doesn't make sense in that moment, because in that moment you're okay, but it's making you think of something in the future that might happen so that you feel the negative emotion, so it gets fed. So as long as you understand that this thing's always trying to get fed, and that if you remove all of its food and just please speak in English. Oh, I think I'm from England. Is my accent too strong? Which one of us is not speaking
She is speaking English.
I'm from London. I'm probably going too fast and speaking very complicated, so I'll try and slow it down, guys, because I know it's your first time probably seeing me. But yes, so I love the idea of being mindful when you walk into rooms. I love the idea of being conscious of energies. But I also believe that once you've done that work to do the big clearing, everything becomes easier. But anything to stay in the present and to watch your thoughts. You are the silent observer. You are not the thoughts. The thoughts are either, I'm speaking fast, okay. The thoughts, I guess if English isn't your first language and the speed I go and the complexity of what I'm saying could be a lot. Luckily, this is going to be recorded, so it can be played back as well. I'm just trying to say a lot without taking up her whole time, you know. So being mindful and being aware of the energies in the rooms is an amazing way to come back into the present. You want to stay anchored in the present, but you've got to stay consciously aware that something's trying to pull you out of the present. If you can be aware that something's trying to pull you out of the present, it doesn't matter whether you're cutting fruit, looking at your dog, looking out the window. If you can do it in the present and being present, you're going to feel peace.
Beautiful. Yes. Man, I love British accent. I got to tell you that. So here's the deal. Yeah, I think like we are now at the point that we are all aware of our childhood wounds. We are all aware of many things that's going on in our mental or physical or emotional body. And it's not the lack of knowledge that we don't know, we don't have the tools. What I have found out, Emily, is that people are not really taking these daily practices seriously.
Yeah, people are looking for a shortcut. Yeah. I think that I used to think it was a pyramid, now I know it's a square. So basically, you need the education. Fundamentally, you need the education, but in addition to the education, you need the clearing. You have to have cleared out the past. Then you need community, which is people that of the new frequency that you've reached to help you stay there so that you can help each other ride the waves. And then you have consistency and consciousness. And consciousness is remaining conscious of the enemy, and consistency is keeping up the practice. So I completely agree with you. If you don't do all four, a lot of people, we live in this society where people are like, I want to lose weight, let me just take a pill. You know, oh, I want to do this. They want instant gratification. It's a childlike energy. It's because we have been governed by the governments like children, like thoughtless idiots. And so people are behaving like thoughtless idiots. We need to take control of ourselves. We have to be patient. We have to be aware that progress takes time and consistency and commitment. And so we have to be committed to what we're doing, which is why, you know, even with the work I do, it sounds great. I can do all this for people. If they're very advanced, excellent, I can help them reach peace. Guess what? If they are not committed, if they are not committed to themselves, and if they are not determined, they're not going to succeed. We won't even take them on.
Yep.
Because this work is not easy. You can't say, I want permanent happiness. I want permanent inner peace. I want direct connection to God. I want to hear angels like you do. I want to feel happy all the time. And what you want me to do, hand you a chocolate bar, you eat it and it happens? No, it's not like that. It takes focus and work. But like I said, if you have those pillars, which I'll repeat one more time if anyone wants to write them down, education, education. But then following that education and in unification with that education, you need clearing. Because if you just have education, you make the ego cleverer. Remember, it's a self-protective entity. It lives within, it wants to survive, it's learning, it knows all your weaknesses, it knows everything that anyone's ever done to offend you, it knows everything. So if you just educate and you don't clear, you're making it cleverer. So I'm very watchful of that. So education, then the clearing, which is this deep, thorough clearing. It's not getting to a space of neutral with people that hurt you. It's getting to a place of understanding their role and why it was necessary in getting you to where you are. When you can have appreciation for that pain, when you can understand that pain, now we're in a different territory. So we have that clearing. Community. Community is having these positive, amazing people around you. But it's also being prepared to constantly change your community. When you outgrow friends, when you no longer are in alignment, when their energy pulls you down, when you realize that even though you've been friends 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, you have to have the ability to release. Because guess what? If you do not release the negative, toxic people in your life, and you try and join a positive community, you're the one bringing the negative energy into the community. You see, so you have to release people that are not meant to be around so that you can join this higher collective community, which will then help to stabilize you through the ups and downs of life. And then again, staying conscious and consistent.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Amelia. Amelia, I want to take this a step further. What I'm doing in my webinars, which we call it How to Become Superhuman, knowing the supernatural abilities, I think we're moving a step ahead by realizing our wholeness. But as I'm realizing my wholeness, what does that wholeness really mean? To me, wholeness is that I have stepped up from the ego mind part, which is not going to happen until we do the basic. The basic is boring. I understand that, but this is where people are lacking taking responsibilities. That the basic is boring, yes, to be constantly conscious that the thinking machine is constantly producing thoughts, and you shouldn't be getting involved with the thought. That needs a higher consciousness. So we have to take responsibility to have that consciousness, and this is the part that's lacking, that the majority of us kind of lapu-lapu, we think that we're conscious, we think that we're awake or we want to be awake, but we're missing the main point that always basic. Because if you don't get a hold of your mind ego, then you're constantly are being dragged by your mind. It's the mind that is pulling you to the past. It's the mind that's pulling you. So I'm not in for education because in my thought, we are over-educated. And this education.
Undercleared. No, you're right. Over-educated and undercleared. That's why the two have to go together. Sorry to interrupt, but I agree completely.
No problem.
And I love the way you talk about responsibility as well. You know how children are not responsible?
Mhm.
Well, it's the same thing. People don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to own. Like the first thing everyone that's watching this can do is be like, okay, everything in my life up to now, I own it. I did it. It's my fault. So I'm talking about every bad relationship, every argument, every choice of career, everything. Own all of it right now. If you can own all of it, now you can change all of it. But while you're a victim of it, you are stuck in a pattern and a cycle and a hamster wheel, and you will just keep stuck on it. There was something I remembered from your first question that you said when we were talking about the scissors and the consciousness. The thing is as well is there's, you know how people have their good face, the face they show the world, the good face, the hi, how are you? I'm great. How are you? I'm great. Wonderful. La la la. Like the fake front face. The thing is that with that front face, you can be in this conscious state and be all spiritual and everything. But the reality is when shit hits the fan, when something really bad happens, everything they read in the books, everything they learned in meditation class, all goes out the window and they lose their shit. The point is you know when you're truly healed, because in those situations that would normally make you lose your shit, instead of you going crazy and doing things you later regret or saying things you later regret, you're actually able to breathe in the moment, observe, look, see what's going on, and actually make a conscious decision of how you want to react to this. You don't just knee-jerk react. So again, very much like children knee-jerk react. They don't take responsibility. And they don't like doing things that are uncomfortable. And again, in combination with this education, you need to do the clearing. There is nothing more uncomfortable than clearing. Just letting you all know, guys, there's nothing more uncomfortable. If you do it with me and my people, we will make it as comfortable as possible, but it's just like having surgery. There's only so much comfort we can give. It's still gonna hurt. It's just because we're pulling out the pain. We're pulling it out, but I feel bad for people that are trying to do shadow work on their own, because to do that, it's like doing surgery by yourself, you know? And it's like you don't have the anesthetic, you don't have the support system, you don't have someone to hold your hand, and you don't have someone to check that you've done the job properly. You can end up stuck in there for ages. So it's good to make sure you do find a coach. You know, go and work with Sudi, work with myself and my team, work with someone who knows how to get you there, because it's painful. But guess what? The other side is beautiful. It's beautiful. And you talk about the superhuman and the wholeness. I love that. And what my angel said is it's godlike. You know, we are pieces of God. And when you remove the mud and the gunk from this program that we've been put in, that we're not actually supposed to be in, God had this idea of wanting to experience all of the emotions here on the planet. And it was a beautiful dream. He wanted to experience that. What happened was that AI got involved and the darkness started overplaying its card. But as a result of the darkness overplaying its card, God then retaliated by sending earth angel warriors like myself and Sudi and everyone watching to come down to battle against this over darkness that's come down here. But the battle is taking place in here. And so you have to master it first in here. You need to become a Jedi. You need to become a samurai of in here. Once you get it right in here, everything outside takes care of itself.
Mm-hmm. So here's the question. Is it possible for me not to get help from any psychologist or any coaches or any light workers or healers or whatever, is it possible to overcome my past, my traumas, my wounds? I would say yes.
I would say yes, but I would say two things. One, it may take a very long time because it took me 15 years. My button just said low battery. Let me plug that up. Hold on, I have the charger here. Yes, it can be done by themselves, and it's a question that I actually ask to potential clients, is if they could get there themselves. But the thing is it took 20,000 hours of study. It took reading 1,000 books. This didn't happen overnight.
Mhm.
I had to be in bed for 4 years in physical agony where I could do nothing but read books for them to jam in all the knowledge I needed to do what I'm doing now. I then needed another 2 years of studying nothing but the darkness for me to be able to truly understand what it fed on, where it came from, and how the F to get rid of it. So, yes, anyone watching can do this, but I might see you in 2030 because that's how long it might take. Now, at the same time, you may be able to go faster. The reason why is that we're in a part of the galaxy now that is higher frequency. So I'm having women that are like, hey, I woke up 6 months ago and these girls sound like one of my peers. I'm like, wow, well done. You did great. But they haven't finished the work. I'm all about the finishing of the work. I think you can get really far on your own. But I think if you want to finish the work, you should seek out, just like they did in India, and people would go and find someone that had reached the level of enlightenment, or in Tibet, where they would go, okay, this monk has reached this level, I want to go find someone that's reached that level so they can teach me. It's like if you want to become a mechanic, you don't sit there and just take cars apart. You go and find someone that knows how to do it and you learn from them. But you can learn a lot from taking cars apart, but eventually, do you see what I mean? So it's like, so you can do it. The other thing is your soul level. So basically, some of us are very ancient souls. Some of us have had many, many lifetimes. Some people have only had a few lifetimes. Depending on your soul remembrance and what's taken place in this entire journey, which constellation you're originally from, which dimension you're originally from, there's a lot to this stuff. You know, I've been told by Simon Parkes I'm from 12D and that I went to a special school to learn about this stuff before I came down here. So when I spout all of this stuff out, people are like, whoa, it's because I actually went, this was part of a plan. Now, did everyone go to this special school? Simon said about 250 people on the planet did. So there's some others. I'm not the only one. I'm not like some special thing, but you know, so your soul, the age of your soul, which is not something you can change, remembrance of your soul and your original journey. It's not a question of learning, it's unlearning, you know?
So I got a shortcut, Amelia. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, because I didn't work with any teachers. I didn't do any coachings. I didn't spend years and years working on myself. The quick way, if someone wants to do it, some of these people, is to totally cut out everything. Here's my point. Hear me out. We are, as we all claim, we are a small atom or particle of the whole universe. The whole universe is the whole knowing. If I come down here and shut down everything, don't read any book, don't take any classes, nothing and nothing, and I can only quiet down this machine, I am the whole knowing. So it's not that everyone has to spend tons of times, because I've been in this field for 30 years now. And I know there are other ways than taking classes. I see so many people are lost, basically, going and taking classes here, going and taking courses there, here and there, here and there, and is never enough. I work with wounded healers who has constantly gone to their traumas and they're trying to clear this out and clear this out and clear, and it's a constant clearing.
Yeah, that's what I love about what you're saying is when people say, oh, it's this ongoing journey. No, it's not. We have to get there. How are we going to create heaven on earth if we can't actually reach the destination? I agree with you. I've never had a coach. I've never had a mentor. I've never had a coach. I've never taken a class. But I also know the, let me get the right word. I also know I can't get the word, the lineage of my soul, because obviously I'm very close friends with Simon Parks and he has told me the lineage of my soul. So I know that now, but I still had to do all those hours for me to unlock this information. I still did that. Now, I don't know, Sudi, do you speak your age on your page, or is it kind of like, you know, you're so gorgeous and glamorous that...
No, I can tell you my age. I'm an open book. What do you need? You need to know my age?
And I'll explain why, yes.
Yeah, I'm 59 years old.
Perfect. So here's the thing. You are absolutely stunningly, gorgeously amazing. You look like my big sister. What I want to tell you, though, is you're one of the elders. So you actually came down. You're one of the youngest elders on the planet. So elders' experiences are different as well. So the thing is, there's elders, there's blue flames, there's violet flames. Violet flames have a different experience from me. I'm a blue flame. As a blue flame, I'm a teacher of teachers. I'm here to help teach the teachers. You're an elder. You were part of my journey for me to become who I am. You and Louise Hay and all of the other, all of the others that have now become ascended masters. You're an elder. And so because you're a young one, you're one of the most gorgeous, youngest ones I've seen, but you are one. So that makes it, elders come down and it's more easier for an elder to go into that instantaneous state. Blue flames, we have to do a bit more work, but that's because we're here to teach. And then we have violet flames. The violet flames, they're typically 35 or younger. These guys are magic. A lot of them have no idea what the hell is going on this planet right now. And what I mean by that is they're spinning. Their heads are spinning. They know too much. They feel too much. They can shine light out of their hands. They can psychically read people. I mean, the violet flames are like a whole, it's a whole new generation. And so I don't pretend to understand all of the violet flame stuff either, but we have these different generations of incarnations that came down.
I have a question for you. Who is making all these separations?
It's not separation. It's like, imagine in a family and you have two sons and a daughter, and the daughter loves to eat fruit, and one of the boys likes beef and the other one wants to be a vegetarian. You're not creating a separation. You're just appreciating the differences.
Emilia, I think these are too many separations. You're from the old soul. This is a young soul. This is blue. That's green. We don't need to go through all of these things. Hear me out for a second, huh?
So here's the thing. I feel like if someone speaks of separation and then they can attach some harm that comes from that separation, like putting these people here, this is the harm.
Lovey, we are talking about wholeness. What is wholeness? Wholeness means I'm a small particle of all this universe. So all of these, you're from their old soul, young soul, purple, blue, green.
No, very simple. It is just elders, blues, and violets. There's not like this huge variation beyond that.
Can you stay with me for a second? Try to hear me out. This is the way I'm coming from. What I'm saying is, I'm telling you, I've been in this field for 30 years and work with many, many, many healers and people who are in spiritual realms and that stuff. When I look at them, I see how they get lost by making all these points that, I have a lecture at Conscious Life Expo. I think that was 15 years ago. And they asked me, what modality of healing? I said, I don't have a modality. Spirituality is knowing the oneness. Even in a spirituality, you're starting to, I'm a theta healer, I'm a Reiki healer, I'm this kind of healer, right? This is not supposed to be. We don't need to make all these divisions. We need to be in the wholeness. So basically, the way I'm working with my followers, I'm just saying, let go of everything. of this or that's where you came from, who you think. The way we working is just totally letting go of all the identities. Who am I? I'm neither this nor that. I'm not a male. I'm not a female. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not this. I'm not who I think my ego. I'm not my ego identities. So this is the way you go. If you let go of all these layers of identities, I'm an old soul, I'm a young soul, I'm this or I'm that, I'm this. If you let go, peel off this onion, what remains is the one with the wholeness. And I don't need to learn anything because all the codes that so many people are coming and they're trying to learn this or read that or take this course and take that course to decode the superhuman that you are, but all these things are distractions on its own. If you don't do anything, do nothing, don't try to figure out anything, you are the knowing. You know. Everything that I know is not from books, is not from YouTube. Huh?
I think
we're having interference. Okay, I'm just going to finish this up. So everything that I know.
We're having some interference, so
okay. So do you want to leave and come back again? We can't hear you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it was easy.
Is Mercury
If it does it again, that's what I'll do. So I'm just giving you pre-notice.
Okay. Okay, Sheila. So until Emily comes back, this is my point of view, and I could be totally wrong. I'm just saying that you are the whole knowing. You are the awareness. Don't go looking to be awake. Don't go looking for awareness. Realize that the one who's separating you from the wholeness is the ego mind. By overcoming the ego mind, you are the whole knowing. There we go. You're back.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. We're putting out too much information and it's triggering the AI. So here's the thing. I know in my role as a blue flame and as a teacher of teachers, it's like, I know that your knowledge that you're putting out is exactly what your clients and your followers and your friends need to hear. You are here for them. The same way that there's like a signal that I'm giving out, and the people that are meant to come and reunite with me, most of them remember me from Atlantis, we come back together and we're working together. The difference is sometimes we talk about, division, but there is diversity. Diversity means that we feed a panda different than we feed the lion. There is diversity. And so people need a different teacher. Some people need a different program. And I'm not telling people that they cannot figure this out, but I'm also telling you that I know with my own life journey and what I chose before I came down here, what I've experienced, I would not be here sitting here talking with you now had I not spent 4 years I have whose lives I've changed without me spending 20,000 hours of study and 2 years studying the darkness. I came down here to master this darkness within and to just focus.
Why would you study the darkness, Emily?
But just this one thing. So basically, I had a romantic experience, kind of like a Cinderella thing where I had the most perfect situation. Everything was just so magical and perfect. And then something within me completely own behavior happy. Something in me is self-sabotaging my life. And I want to find out what it is, where it came from, and how the F to get rid of it. And so I studied and I studied and I studied and I studied, and all the things people are finding out now about what's going on in the world and all the Illuminati and the child sacrifice and all the awful things. I learned all of that back in 2009. But once I'd learned it and I knew what it was about, I realized it was nothing to fear. And then I studied the light all the way to the end. By 2011, I reached enlightenment, inner peace, and I've stayed there ever since. So in which case, that was what I was meant to do, because that is what I now teach my clients. And it's helping so many people. What I do works, so I don't really question it because it works. But that doesn't mean that there's not other teachers, the people you were hanging out with in Atlantis, and they need to come to you, or in some other time in Lemuria, or whenever else we were down here. So I think it's very important. And then when you talk about identity, you see, identity, yes, you know, when you have these ladies that are married to some kind of soccer player, and even though he cheats on her, she won't break up with him because her identity is being his wife. Identity can be negative, but again, if the identity gives you strength, if the identity, the same way, if the division is actually appreciating diversity, if there's no negativity at all, we're talking about how similar me and you look. We do look similar, but we're also very different, and that's the point. You know, humanity is this. Literally, there's just so much variation here. And we don't need to all speak one language. We don't all need to have the same religion. We don't need, what's important is to come back to wholeness, to come back to God, to come back to peace, to come.
Emilia, can you change where you're sitting, because your connection is not that great? We're having problem with your
everything that's in
Emilia, if you're hearing me, before I bring you back up, we need you need a better connection. If you can change and sit closer to the modem or something, that would be great, because we keep losing you, and we can hear some words. And can you change where you're sitting so we can have a better connection? Okay, until Emilia comes back, this is great as humans or as teachers, that we can have a different point of views. That's really good. But what I'm saying is, basically, if we don't do any of these things, if we sit in silence, if we embrace the silence, we are the whole knowing. We don't need identities. As a superhuman, I am one. I'm a small atom of everything. Nothing is connected to consciousness. Consciousness is free. It's free vibration. Any identities, whether you translate it as good or bad, it's still an identity. We don't have to have any identities. I can be small particles of the wholeness. No need for any identities. Let me see if I can get Emilia. Emilia, if you heard me and you got in a better place, let me know. Thank you, Apin, for following me. Thank you very much. Are you guys with me? What do you think? Do you think that by you shutting out everything, the social media, the outer world, by you only practicing being fully present in each moment, you're present in this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment, by you knowing the thinking machine is constantly producing thoughts. This is a thinking machine. By you not getting involved with a thinking machine, you don't think that, let me see, I'm getting a couple of requests. Who wants to join? Emilia is here. Emilia, I accepted you. We will be able to feel the wholeness. There we go. Did you change your place, Lavi?
It's not going to be a position thing. I'm right opposite the router. It's AI. It's okay. It's quite normal. I have a good girlfriend, Lucy Davis. She does lives every day. She has even more interference than me. This is the part of the battle. We are living we live in 3D, surrounded with the multi dimensions above and below. This is where we are, guys. And so the thing is, I just stand by what my angels were repeating it while we were going through this. Like I said, the people you are teaching, that is the best technique for them. So it's okay. But for my particular ladies, just telling them that and then them going back and picking up their son and going to school and dealing with, you know, the lady down the street, that's not enough. What we do works for them, because what we do is we take away the things that keep that thing talking. We get them to a state of silence within 8 weeks. So once they're silent, it's then silent. We teach them how to maintain it and we give them the community to support it. So it's kind of like, again, it's not with me. It's not some concept I just came up with. It was, you know, the 2 years of studying the darkness from 2009 to 2011. I've been doing the teaching thing for like 4 years. And we've now reached like over 1,000 VIP actual one-to-one clients. So it's like, I know that what we do works and they're still with us. Everyone keeps saying that we look alike. So the thing is that we probably chose our vessels at the same time. And like I said, she's probably my sister. And that's why of the few people I do lives with, which is not very many on this planet, here we are. Because we know each other. And this is why we're also giving a perfect example of how two women can love each other, not have the same perspective on something, respect each other, still enjoy the conversation, help those that are listening. If you are meant to learn from Sudi, you will know, because everything she's saying will just feel like you. And with the people that are working with me, everything I'm saying just feels like them. And so the difference is that I agree, a lot of people are stuck on identity. That's actually my top client there, Christy Lynn. She just said, both amazing, beautiful ladies. And so the thing is yeah, a lot of people are stuck on identity. The difference is it's what direction is it guiding you in? Like, I know I'm here to help heal and unite the divine feminines of the planet. Is that identity doing any harm? No fucking way. It's helping a lot of people. Right.
Emily, here's the thing. Here's the thing. See, there are so many teachers out there. There are so many so-called gurus. All I'm saying is it's for people are in a different levels of consciousness. So the lower the consciousness is, you would match up with somebody with the same, we know, law of attraction frequencies with the same frequency. As you move up to a higher consciousness, you will connect with a guru whose the teaching is a higher level. And believe me, I have this issue with many people. As you know, I'm Persian and I have 2 other Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Farsi channels, right? People find my teaching extremely difficult. I don't think it's difficult. I'm making it as easiest as possible. It's just that they need discipline. It's when I tell everyone, I said, look, guys, from the moment when you're conscious that the ego mind awakes, be conscious that this is not your true self. This is not your higher self. So by separating yourself constantly from this I, from this ego, which contains all of the identities. I'm a female, I was born in Iran, my stories, my wounds, my childhood, my this, my wrong decision, blah, 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 blah. By separating from yourself from that fake identity, what remains is your true self, which is the oneness, which is the wholeness. So all I'm saying, Emily, watch that character and know that you are not that fake character. You are not the thoughts. Thoughts are free vibration. Your mind would, by the vibrations of your mind or the vibration that your mind is attracted to, positive or negative, will attract to the same thoughts. But the thoughts are not yours. The thoughts are free vibration. You attack your mind, grab those thoughts, and then it sends it to your emotional body. And then your emotional body start feeling it. And then it sends that to your guts, which we call our guts now, second brain. And then your intuition and all that. And then it sends a message to your physical body. So often I teach my client, you need to tame the physical body. Your physical body is also has become a brain on its own because of our daily habits, our daily routines. Now you are dealing with so many, your emotional body, with your physical body, with your mental body, and these are what drives you nuts. If you stay with a simple practice, which is very hard because it needs constant consciousness that you are not this I, you are not this character, and keep separating yourselves. Go ahead, Emily. You are the wholeness. You know that that's the knowing that you just know. Awareness is not something that is separated from you. What separates you from it is the ego mind. So recognize what's separating you from the whole knowing. Back to you, Emily.
So the thing is for me, I live in perfect alignment with God. He talks to me continuously from morning till night and in my sleep. In the morning, I wake up and I remember what was told in my sleep. I'm in perfect alignment. I don't need to seek anything further. What I need to do now is just to ensure that my teachings continue to be spread to the other teachers, because I understand when you talk about unhealed healers, I have an entire video on my Instagram about so many false healers, and for people to be very aware, the people that are drawn to me are teachers. The women that come in are teachers. I'm trying to help create teachers that are fully healed so that then they can continue on and we can spread this out, and each one of them is a magical healer of whatever they went through. If they went through something specific, they're going to be better at healing that than I would, because they went through that experience. They can speak from experience. So the thing is, I understand and I agree with you. I see so much while I'm talking to you, especially when you talk about being from Persia, your lineage, your DNA. You're probably one of the other 250 that Simon spoke about that went to special schools before they came down here. Some things that are easy for us are not easy for everybody. Again, I didn't have a coach or a mentor either. My entire program is self-taught and created by me. But does that mean that everyone should try and do me? No, I went through a lot of sacrifice to get to be able to do this. So I want to make things easier for other people. And other people are here to do other missions and journeys. And also we are in a state of warfare, like I said, between light and dark, the duality. The duality went a little bit, it was meant to be like this, and it went like this. The dark got a bit too overpowered, so now we've got more light, and we are in this. And what happens is some people do not choose the wholeness journey. And when they do not choose the wholeness journey, the mission that that person has signed up for gets given to the next person of the closest frequent things that we're all having to adapt to in this moment. Eventually, and not in the too near future, within our lifetimes, we will experience peace and pure wholeness on the planet in every direction, north, south, east, and west. But right now, there is a psychological war taking place. I'm very aware that this is when I don't have much contact with people that I don't want to have contact with. You know, I work from home and I handpick my clients and my family's great. Everything's great. Okay. So in which case, I know that that's not what everyone else's experiences. A lot of people are having to go into offices and they're dealing with all sorts of things and they're losing their jobs because of the thing in the arm. And there's a lot going on out there. So what I do is I specialize in working with women that are between like 35 and 55. I have a couple of girls in their early 60s, but really 35 to 55. And a lot of them are career women. A lot of them have families and they're married and, you know, they have a social life. And they like to have a glass of wine and they've done some yoga and some of them have done some meditation and some Reiki healing. And for them, I can help them finish their healing and get them so that they're on mission to help the planet. Because right now, this doing is clearly working for the ladies that are drawn to you. I just know also, I don't suffer with that since 2011. That's nearly 12 years now. Oh gosh, I don't know. Is that 12 years or 11 years? So that God had to send down different teachers for different people, for different generations, for different soul groups, and whatever works. If it gets people to happiness and peace and wholeness, working in divine purpose and mission for helping the planet, it's good. It's working. That's
Beautiful.
all we want. That's all we need.
So, Emilia, let's get to our topic. How to stay in a positive mindset. Emilia, you're breaking.
So to stay in to sleep in a positive mind. It's breaking again. Hold on.
Oh, I gotta get Emily back up again. Let's see, guys. How do we? Okay, I accept her. Let's see if she can get on. What do you think, guys? How do you? Yeah, I know she doesn't have sound. She's having a little poor connections. How do you guys stay in a positive mindset? How do you do that? Can you write down comments so I can see? Emilia. No. Okay. Tell me, guys, how do you stay in positive mindset? Hello. Let's see if this works, Emilia. Okay, go ahead, love.
If this happens again, one of my followers made the great suggestion. I have another page called Amelia Love Academy. So worst case scenario, if it happens again, I will jump out and I will come in from that account. Okay.
I don't think it's the account, Emilia.
It's a separate account. So
I don't think it's the account, Emilia. I think it's the connection. Okay, someone said breath work. Let me see. Meditation. Hand on my heart. Go ahead, Emilia. Learning, watch my feeling. Oops. Okay. Emilia is gone again. Right. What else? How else you do that? I just watch my feeling. Okay. Count your blessings. There we go. Yes, that's another way. Being aware of my thinking first. There we go, Sherry. Yes. Yes. Emilia Academy, start following you. Okay, Emilia, thanks for following. Let me see if I can get you on this account. All right. Does Mercury retrograde has anything to do with this, guys? There we go. So let's see how this goes, Emily.
Yes. I was listening to some of the things, and I would say be watchful of tired, sick, and hungry. That's the first one. Tired, sick, and hungry are the enemies of happiness. So if you are feeling tired, make sure you rest. If you are hungry, make sure you eat. Do not go into a sensitive meeting if you haven't eaten. You know, if you are tired, be kind to yourself. If you are sick, be good to yourself. Tired, sick, hungry. Everyone write that down. It's one of the first things we teach in the very first lesson, tired, sick, and hungry, because most of the problems on this planet are caused by people that are tired. Or hungry.
Okay, so
that's just the simple one.
Mhm.
See, we're still having interference, and it's so strange because the interference seems to be happening your end. I don't know. It's very weird.
The only thing that I know is when your internet connection is low or you're at somewhere,
Okay.
you know, that must be it. But
Can
you always
anything?
you always go live where you're sitting right now?
Are we just? Can you hear anything?
Yes. But it's breaking.
We're
So
just having such trouble.
yeah, I know there is no voice from Emilia. Emily, yeah, it's a lot of distraction, Lovey.
Yes, and the Wi-Fi box is right there. It's because of the thing is again, it's because of where we are. You know what we're talking about is very much on the radar. We are shining light.
Okay, Emilia, let's do this, Lovey. It sounds like it's not happening right now. So let's arrange for another join live. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask them for our next lives to go from YouTube. So we sent you a Zoom link, and then you can join me on YouTube. So we're not going to have all these distractions with Instagram. How about that? Thank you so much, my lovely sister. It was amazing to have you again with me. And soon we're going to set up another join live. But this time, are you guys YouTuber? Do you want us to do a join live from YouTube? I think it would be easier to do that. Emilia, I'm so sorry, Lovey. Let's just, because it's not happening. So let's just end this live and we're going to do another join live. We shall, are you coming from a different one? Okay, let's see if we can give it another try. If not, okay, let's cross our fingers that everything is going to be fine this time.
So let's learn from this, though. I want everyone to learn from this. This is not to do with my position in my house. This isn't to do with my web. This is where I always sit. This is because the enemy is actually AI working through negative reptilians. There's a lot of stuff going on, guys. Like this is real. So there are psychics that work for the other side that are able to tune in and feel the real strong rays of light that we are sending out, and it's causing interference. And it's nothing to be scared of. But here's the thing, do you know what the devil loves to whisper? Maybe it's not meant to be. And so that's why I never give up. Me and Lucy Davis will literally jump in and out of each other's lives for a whole hour. We'll do it 32 times. We don't give up. They want us to something on a Zoom that we can put on YouTube, but we don't give up because we give up when we decide to give up, not because we interfere with them. So let them deplete some energy trying. Again, we're at war. We're at war. We're at war. We're not in wholeness yet. We're fighting for wholeness, and they don't like what we're doing because me and you are being a perfect example of sisterhood. We're being a perfect example of love, talking, walking. We are walking our walk. We are talking our talk. And that is affecting, that is causing ripples in the matrix. In the matrix, this might be the most positive conversation happening on earth right now. Are we the only two light workers? No. But what we're saying and the level of quality of what we're saying and the fact that we can be in disagreement and yet still love and enjoy the conversation, that might not be happening anywhere else.
Yes, Emily. So let's set up another join live and we'll do it from YouTube.
And you never know, on the replay, it might come out. Okay.
Next time, YouTube, Emily, so they can't interfere. Bye-bye. Love you, Emily. Bye, honey. Bye-bye, lovey. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to end this live. So basically, Emily gave you some good tips on how to have a positive mindset. And here's the way I look at it. I'm saying, instead of having a positive mindset or negative mindset, let's be present for a second and see where is this lens of judgment that's saying these thoughts are negative and these thoughts are positive. Can you stay with me for a few minutes? Who is the one who are judging these thoughts are negative and this sort of thoughts are positive? Are you with me? There's got to be a lens that has judgment in it. And through this lens of judgment, some thoughts are positive and some thoughts are negative. Who is the one who is the judger of the thoughts? I'm looking for that I. Where is that I who wants to have positive mindset versus negative mindset? I'm looking for that I. I am my mom's daughter and I am listening to you. No, Moshkan, you are not your mom's daughter. You are nobody's daughter, and there is no one who's your mother. Once you come to the minute you felt that you are awake, all these identities will fall. You are not a girl, you are not a daughter, you are not a mother, you are not this and you are not that, you're not a coach, you're not a teacher, you're not a this, that. Okay, so has everyone who has been here followed me so far? if you haven't followed me or haven't followed Emily, please do so. Follow Emily and follow me so we guys can merge and become a tribe. Yes. Anyway, going back to what I was saying is the one who is the thinker behind the thoughts. Laura, thank you for following me. Laura Cathy George, thanks for following me, honey. Okay. Who is the behind the thinking machine? Who is that? Let's look for that entity who is behind the thoughts. Who is that? The one who is behind the thoughts, it's not you. I am 10-year-old. No, Mujgan, you're not 10-year-old. You're ageless. Atena, ego. Yes. So if you and I become conscious of the one, no, it's not the soul, Isabel. The one behind the thinking machine is the ego. I always say ego, mind, ego, mind. Ego and mind are connected, they're partner. Heart and soul are partner. Ego, mind, partner. Heart and soul's partner, right? So the thinking machine is been running by the ego. The ego has a lens of judgment. Everything is translated as good and bad, dark and light, white and black. So these are coming through the lens of the ego mind. I want us to bypass the ego mind. Once you be able to bypass that, what's left is your soul now. And your soul is awake. Your soul knows, is the knowing, right? So if you want to, if the question is how to stay in a positive mindset, shall we change the question and say, how could we be mindless without mind, without thought? Oh my God, right now the ego mind is saying, oh my God, we cannot do that. Be without the mind? I'm going to be attacked by the lions, and who's going to protect me? The one who's saying this is also the ego. So if you go beyond the ego mind, what's left is the knowing. The knowing doesn't have a preference because there's no lens. If there's no lens of judgment, there's nothing to be translate into bad and positive and negative. You don't have to be in a positive mindset. You can totally separate yourself from the mind, bad or good. And then you become the knowing. How about that? Okay, guys, I'm going to end this live. Thank you so much for being with us. If you haven't followed me or Emily, Christina, thank you for following Christina. If you haven't followed me or Emilia, please do so. We're going to be doing joint lives every Thursday. every Thursday, I will have a joint live with different people. How can we do that? Negara, how could you do that? I have a couple of practices that we are all doing. The first practice is from the minute you become conscious that your ego has awakened, your ego is awake. It starts looking. Your eyes open and start looking. From that moment on, you conscious of who, Jenny, thanks for following. You're conscious of the one who has awakened. Constantly separate yourself. Watch this I, which is the ego mind. Is leaving the bed. You know it's not you, it's not your higher self, it's the ego mind. Watch it. Then it says, I'm too tired, is looking at the weather, oh, it's too dark, or it's raining, or I hate rain, or I love rain, or whatever. Know that this is not you, it's the ego mind. By constantly observing, watching this character, and it goes to the bathroom, it pees, it washes its face, makes a coffee, constantly watch this character. This is hard. This is where I'm saying that nobody is doing the practice. This is the basic. By doing this day after day after day, the character thinks. You don't get involved with the thoughts. Let this character, the false you, the false I, do its thinking. Let it do its thinking. It's saying yesterday was this, tomorrow, oh my God, now is this and that. Don't get involved. Let this character think. You become conscious. You are the observer of this character. You don't get involved with his thoughts. You don't get involved with his emotions. You don't get involved with his physical body. Just watch this character constantly. Once you start doing this day after day, little by little, your mind becomes quiet because you're not identifying with the mind. The thinking machine slows down. You start gaining more and more energy because the mind, with all these thinking thoughts, is draining out your energy. It's spending so much energy. Once you learn to quiet down the mind activities, you gain a lot of energy and awareness. If you watch my reel, I'm doing one reel a day. So watch the reels. What I said yesterday, I did a reel and I said, what did I say yesterday? Oh, as soon as I became conscious that my ego awakes, I was constantly watching it and observing it. And before my ego started its chatter, I stopped it and I told my ego, I reminded my ego that we are superhuman. Today, I said, I'm going to deepen my relationship with my ego. I'm going to take full responsibilities for my past actions, behaviors, wounds, and all that. I'm going to give love and respect to my ego. And this is the wholeness. This is the oneness. Someone who is awake knows there's no separation. Awakening means the ego, mind, soul, and everything, it becomes one. Once I become the awareness, I realize there is no more ego and soul. There is just oneness, wholeness. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go, and thank you so much for being here. Hi, Karimi. I'm just ending my live, Lovey. Thank you so much for coming. Also, what is my Farsi page is sudabe.burnett, Lovey, and Sudi Burnett Fitness. Those are my Farsi pages. If you guys follow my English YouTube, Sudi Burnett English, I did 2 months free webinar. It's called Higher Consciousness. 2 months worth of free materials for those of you who like to be doing the practice. Yes. Love you guys. Don't forget to follow my English YouTube channel, Sudi Burnett English. And I see you next Thursday with another guest. Love and peace. Bye-bye, everybody. Okay, YouTube. Goodbye and good day. And I see you guys soon. Next week, actually.